So there you have it. Fires by Rick Bass. As I mentioned, he's one of my favorite authors. I love the way that he weaves the natural world into his stories. Clearly has a respect for nature, the environment. He's a pretty vocal environmentalist.
I thought, hey
What
Dave, I
about you?
thought
What do you think here?
no, well, I thought his ability to describe the environment was excellent. You know what I mean? You could really feel yourself with him in this cabin and not in the woods and stuff like that. So, does he often write about nature things or?
His stories, all I shouldn't say every one of them, but most of his stories weave in nature.
Well, he did a good job. He did a
Yeah,
good job
he
of that.
really
Okay.
very descriptive. You like you say, you feel you're there. You know, you can smell the smoke when he's talking about the smoke hanging up in the air, and you can feel the sun beating down on them, and seeing the animals running around.
Well, he made it sound like he was legit when he was telling you about the snow bunnies,
Yeah,
the snowshoe hares, and he's explaining to how they act and carry on, and the part where the season hasn't quite changed for them. Uh,
yeah,
they haven't molted,
yeah,
so to speak, into their
yeah,
fall colors,
yeah.
like little white stones running around
Yeah, yeah,
chasing his garden. I thought
yeah,
that was kind of cute. But his overall description of nature was excellent, and I could see that uh, he was living quite the bachelor life there. And of course, then Glenda
yeah.
showed up, and
Glenda Shaw. Before we get to Glenda,
oh,
what do you think about the title, Fires? The fires get mentioned several times. These controlled burns.
I I think it was I think it was literally fires, and I also think it had to do with metaphoric fires. Is that the way we'd say it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little
I was
fire in
thinking
my
that
heart,
too. Fire in his heart.
little fire in my groin, or something like
I
that.
think they both experienced that. Both, both, both
So
protect.
that could have been the basis. But his description of the flowers, I believe that's probably all true. In fact, I got the distinct impression that that is all stuff that happens out there in that
Yeah,
country.
yeah,
And if you can smell, I mean, people when they have a barbecue pit somewhere going around with wood fire, you can smell it at a pretty good radius. So I imagine
yeah,
those giant controlled fires to burn off that residue from those harvesting those trees. So that was all good. I thought it was pretty good characters. Wasn't a lot of character development there, but there was enough characters to make the story, smooth.
yeah. Why do you think that? Why do you think Joe and Glenda try to maintain this distance? Well, they kind of say it, but
Well, I I gather that he mentions earlier that he did, he spent some time with other women, and they always felt that they were trapped,
yeah, right. Yeah.
and that you know he
He didn't want to go through that again.
he didn't, and he's probably reluctant to to put
To
a woman in
to
that
put
situation, living in the mountains or whatever like that.
to put a woman through that situation. Yeah.
Right. So he was very reluctant. And I get the impression he was just doing somebody a favor.
Or
But
at least that's how it started, right?
I think that's
But
how
you
it starts
notice,
in a lot of cases where
yeah.
you just,
You notice how the distance between them
well, I mean,
was
then
start.
she's running, put my hand on my chest and feel my heart,
Yeah.
laying in the sun, you know what I mean? Gee whiz. I mean, it was kind of obvious. I thought I thought Shirley was going to ride off into the sunset, husband and wife before that story ended. But you have to read on, folks. I mean,
But it didn't. Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
way.
I thought it was interesting that he was, Joe was unsure about a lot of things. He was said, wasn't sure why Brenda came. Was it a reason other than running? I'm wondering, maybe he's thinking, is she trying to get away from the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, or is she running from something else? And he never really answers that, but it's a question. And he talks about there was an animal under the coop. He couldn't figure out what that
Well,
was.
that was just fluff for the story there, as far as I was concerned. That just
Yeah,
added a couple extra words, but wasn't critical to the plot as far as the way I saw it was he he had feelings for this girl, but sometimes you snooze, you lose. And I don't think he took an opportunity to express that. Uh, and of course, she didn't, you know, she might have tried her level best to get his attention, and he kept
Well,
just being the nice guy.
she did. She
Yeah.
did. But I think she also knew that he wasn't going to leave, and she knew that she wanted to run. So,
and she couldn't do it there to make she needed to make money. But there was the incident with the fire. That's the only thing that stymied me. I mean, we read a lot of books, and I belong to a book club, and we're always analyzing these things. So authors write in a certain way to entertain, to sell. But this, her setting the field alight, that I didn't understand. And then the two of them jumping in the lake too. I'm thinking the heat from this thing, it must have been a pretty big field that they would need to be inside of jump into the lake. So I don't know why she did that.
Well, I think this was the last hurrah. I think this was their last chance, their last time they
She
beat
really
together.
forced the issue by setting the field.
Well, I mean, she said, they're in the water, and she said, "Please, love," and he's like, "What?" She's talking to me, and so let me just read this. This is basically the last sentence, or next to the last sentence or two. I'll read it again. It hurts to remember her. Things that should have been said, things that should have been done.
Precisely.
Ain't that the truth?
That's exactly right. So the moral of the story is, if you spend that much time with somebody and you like them that much, you might want to tell them they can always say no.
There you go.
There you go.
Anyway, I thought it was
it was a good choice.
It was a good story. I mean, you can, the more times I read it, and I've read it a number of times, kind of the more, new things that jump out at you. But I think we got the essence of the story there.
I like the fact that you enjoy short stories. You take the time to read them. You discover a lot of them, and they don't have to be a New York Times bestseller short story. Just something about it. And we have an opportunity via this podcast to talk about them, and that's the name of that tune. So
that's the name of that tune.
Yeah. I mean, keep them coming. I don't know where you pick them up all the time, but they're always interesting. So anyhow, you folks out there, your comments, send something in if you like a good story every now and then, and if you were relaxed, if I'm just waking you up from a little snooze, you can always play it again.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I had a listener again told me, and I know this was a woman, and she said, sometimes I have to listen to your podcast 3 times because I keep falling asleep. So,
well, I mean, you got to be something, Dave. If we can be that relaxing, go figure. So, Old Buckdale is always happy to be involved in this, and happy to be part of a podcast that's relaxing. Let's put it that way. And
this was fun. This was good.
I want to wish everybody well, and anybody that might be picking us up that did go through that storm. I wish you the best of luck. I've seen some of the aftermath, so good thoughts and everything to you folks. And this is Old Buckdale saying, write to us, talk to us, send us some contact information, and
tell us what you like, what you don't like. Yeah.
Talk to you next time.
We'll keep doing it. And this is Old Buck Dave saying the same thing. And also happy birthday to anybody who's got a birthday coming up. I don't know who that might be, but
somebody.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.